The flight attendant's voice rang through the cabin like a slap. "I said hand it over." Her outstretched arm jabbed at the small, zippered pouch clutched tightly in the hands of a frightened black teen girl wearing a Stanford University hoodie. Passengers around them turned heads, eyebrows rising as tension thickened the air inside the plane. The girl, maybe 16 or 17, with long black braids and wide eyes swimming in confusion and disbelief, clutched the pouch against her chest. Her voice cracked. "It's my insulin. Please. I need it with me." Before we continue, if you are watching our video for the first time, you're highly welcome to Elliot Stories. Please bless and support us by hitting that subscribe button. Turn on your notification bell to get notified for more edifying stories coming your way tomorrow, and never miss any. Share to friends who love stories filled with twists and morals, and loved ones who value respect and justice no matter the cost. Where are you watching from? Please tell us in the comments. We love seeing how far our stories travel. And to other beautiful and hard-working YouTubers, let's interact in the comment section. I hope to see you soon. We appreciate our unique constant viewers, our highly esteemed subscribers, lovely new viewers, and our first-time subscribers for being part of our growth. This story was humbly crafted and brought to you by Elliot Stories. Catch you on the next one. Huge appreciation from Elliot Stories. Back to the story. The flight attendant, a sharp-faced blonde with a corporate name tag reading Melinda, snatched the pouch from the girl's hands with one fluid motion. The girl gasped, her father beside her rising so suddenly from his seat that his head bumped the overhead bin. "Wait, what the hell do you think you're doing?" the man growled. He looked every bit a composed businessman moments ago. Now, his tone carried thunder. "This item wasn't declared." Melinda barked. "It's against FAA liquid carry-on policy." "That's insulin," he roared, standing toe-to-toe with her now. "My daughter is diabetic. You just took away her life support." Melinda didn't flinch. "Sir, sit down or I'll report you to the captain. Your behavior is aggressive." The passengers nearby began murmuring. A middle-aged woman across the aisle whispered, "Did she just say insulin? Isn't that life-saving medication?" Another man pulled out his phone. The teenager's lips trembled. Her voice was barely audible. "Daddy, I feel dizzy." Her father spun around. "Amora." His voice cracked in panic. She clutched her stomach, her knees buckling. He caught her before she hit the aisle. The plane hadn't even taken off. Chaos erupted. A woman hit the call button repeatedly. A young flight attendant ran over, eyes wide. Melinda snapped her fingers, barking orders for an emergency kit. "Get me that pouch, now," the father bellowed, lifting his daughter back into the seat. Her breathing was short, shallow, as sweat began to bead on her forehead. "Sir, please calm down. Security is on the way." But he was already reaching into his suit jacket. One smooth motion. A leather badge. Black leather. Silver emblem. "You just endangered a minor. I am Commander Elijah Brooks of the Federal Aviation Safety Division. This flight is grounded, and you're going to be detained for reckless endangerment, Melinda." The cabin went silent. Even the engines hummed a little quieter. Melinda's eyes flicked from the badge to the man's face, and then to the unconscious girl. You're FAA?" "Yes. And you just interfered with a medically declared passenger in need of vital medication, with witnesses." She stammered. "But she didn't say." He cut her off. "She doesn't need to announce her health conditions to strangers to avoid discrimination. You saw the patch on her bag. It was marked for medical clearance." Camera phones now hovered in the air like satellites. "I want every flight crew member here now," Elijah commanded. "And someone bring that pouch before I declare a federal emergency." Suddenly, a trembling flight attendant rushed forward with the pouch. Elijah snatched it, opened it, drew out the injector pen, and administered it to Amora as her lips began to pale. Moments ticked by like years. Then she stirred. Her eyes blinked open, slowly, as she looked up at her dad. I felt like I was falling." He kissed her forehead. "I got you, baby. I got you." The intercom came alive with static. A weary voice, "Ladies and gentlemen, this is your captain. We have been instructed by airport control to delay this flight for further inspection. Please remain seated." Elijah pulled out his phone and made one call. It lasted all of 15 seconds. 10 minutes later, 2 men in navy blue suits and plain ties boarded the plane. "Commander Brooks, we're here." He nodded, pointing to Melinda. Remove her. Detain and process under FAA Code 452.12, unlawful interference with medical necessity during passenger boarding. As she was escorted off, Melinda finally broke. I didn't know. I thought it was a vape or something. Elijah's face turned to stone. Even if it was, your job was to ask, not assume. Passengers clapped. Some booed her. Others stared in disbelief, witnessing a system holding one of its own accountable. When the plane was finally grounded for full investigation, the captain personally walked through the cabin apologizing to passengers. Amora, now feeling better, sipped orange juice as her father sat beside her. He turned and said quietly, "You okay to wait for the next flight?" She nodded. "Just don't let them take my pouch again." He smiled, though sadness lingered behind his eyes. Never again. The airport's private lounge opened for all passengers on that flight as a gesture of goodwill. Meanwhile, news headlines broke across Twitter, Instagram, and national news. Flight attendant endangers black teen over insulin, unaware her father was FAA commander. In a press conference 2 days later, Elijah stood before flashing cameras. What happened to my daughter is part of a bigger problem. Implicit bias, abuse of authority, and failure to understand the rights and dignity of all passengers, especially those with medical needs. He paused. Flight staff are trained, but when training fails, accountability must prevail. My daughter's life was nearly lost because someone made a snap judgment based on a stereotype. That's not just ignorance. That's dangerous. The airline issued a public apology and suspended the flight attendant indefinitely. But the biggest shock came a week later, when it was revealed through leaked footage that Melinda had confiscated 3 other pouches from minority passengers in the past month, each time claiming they were suspicious items. The FAA launched a full investigation into procedural enforcement on domestic flights. Amora was invited to speak at the National Youth Medical Awareness Summit. She stood on stage, confident, a little shy, but proud. She shared her story, her fear, and her plea. Please don't treat us like threats for trying to stay alive. I didn't choose to have diabetes. I didn't ask for judgment. I just want to live. And maybe go to college, like any other kid. She smiled gently at the camera. We're not asking for pity. We're asking for respect. The crowd stood. That day, Amora didn't just survive. She led. Moral lesson. Judging someone by appearance, age, or race, especially in moments that demand empathy and attention, can cost lives. Let this story remind us that every human being deserves dignity. Authority should never eclipse compassion. And assumptions should never outrun questions. Everyone matters. Every voice counts. And sometimes, the strongest voices come from those who've been silenced before. This story was humbly crafted and brought to you by Elliot Stories. Catch you on the next one. Huge appreciation from Elliot Stories.